Whenever you see a great design, typography is at the core of it. So you've seen a lot of amazing designs, but you never knew which font is that? Where do I find it? What is it good for? And in this video, I'll show you 6 of my favorite fonts right now, where to find them and what they're good for. Let's dive right into it. The first one is called Krooner, and you can see this is kind of like a serif font, but it's also kind of like weird because it has some of the letters can be all of a sudden wide and you can choose alternates. So this is really great about premium fonts. Sometimes they have alternates so that you can choose, in this case, that maybe the O or the D is going to be wider than the rest of them because there are extra glyphs. Glyphs are the extra letters or how many actual letters are in the font itself. So this font has, most of the font is kind of like tight and narrow, and all of a sudden you can choose some of the letters to be wider and even overlap one another, and that creates really kind of like very cool premium effects. You've seen this around. You've seen this for coaches. You've seen this for people who do premium services or maybe premium brands, direct-to-consumer brands. So you've seen this around, and now you know this is the font. It's called Krooner. You can get it free for personal use if you want for your own project. If you need it for a client work, it's only $12, and your clients are probably going to pay for it anyway. The next font is called Quinton, and this is a super kind of like narrow font. These fonts are so popular these days, and a lot of times it's because on social media, we don't have a lot of space. So with such a narrow font, you can fit in a lot of text in a tight space and make the letters actually look bigger. This is kind of like super young font, super kind of like hipster and trendy. I love this. There are a lot of kind of like free narrow fonts out there, but this one, check out the S's and the G's. They have a very cool kind of like style to it that has like an extra coolness factor into it. I love it. And again, if you're doing something for Generation Z, whatever the young generation is these days, this is a great font to use to create something trendy. So this is font number 2, Quinton. There's no free version for it, but it's only $4 to buy the font. So come on, it's nothing. All the links are below this video, by the way, to get the fonts if you want. The next font is called Okine, I think. Now this is it looks like a normal serif font, and you might see it looks a lot like a lot of other fonts that you know. And for me personally, it reminds me a lot of Futura, which is one of my favorite fonts. But because a lot of people are always using these fonts over and over again, the classic fonts like Futura and Helvetica and this kind of stuff, so it's really nice that you have a font which is similar to them. It's really kind of like clean. You can use it for high tech. It has all of the different width from thin to black, so you can use it in a lot of use cases. But some of the letters, and you can see it here in the G, has this little bit of a different angle to it, so it looks weird. It stands out a little bit. So if you want to go with something really solid and kind of like, again, neat and clean, but that stands out and is not the thing that everybody is using all the time, I think this is really a great solution. Again, mainly for stuff that is either techie or just sharp, clean kind of thing. So this is Okine. It has the font for personal use as well, and $15 for commercial license. The next font is Neima, and Neima it's kind of like a different twist on the first font that we've seen, in the way that it's kind of like serif font that has a very big contrast between the wide part and the thin parts to it. But here we have also these kind of like round connections in this font, something kind of like maybe taking inspiration from Bible things. But to me, this is for occasions where you want to show that this is premium work, but it has some edge to it. There is kind of like a punch to it, something cool. I don't think this would fit for probably maybe adult audience, but maybe for younger people, I think this is a really great font to use. So this is Neima. You can get it for free for personal use, and it costs $8 for a commercial license. The next font is called Huben, and it's completely the other way around. So we've seen a very trendy kind of like narrow font. This is the opposite way, where they are very wide, and that creates kind of like a very bold, in your face kind of a way. I think this is really great for a lot of brands that are maybe like street brands or kind of like skate or punk, or has a little bit boldness and punchiness to it. I think because again, it's very, very in your face. This is, I think, the previous font that we had for Flux Academy was also kind of like very, very wide. I like it, again, because I think it's in your face, kind of feels like no bullshit to it. This one also has an outline version, so it's really cool. You can play with them around. And so this is Huben. You can get it for free for personal use and $6 for commercial license. The last font is called Neue. And this is really cool. It's a sans serif, but it's also kind of like cut in very technical way. So check out the N and the W's and the Y's. So I think this is really, really great for kind of like tech projects. Maybe here they put in the example for analytics software, but I also think for things like cybersecurity, because it looks techy, but it's also kind of like bold and very, very serious. This is not a playful font. This is when you talk business. So things like maybe medical, construction, again, maybe cybersecurity, probably a lot of crypto projects. I think this can be a really, really great solution as a font. So this is Neue, free for personal use and $5 for commercial license. Now I just want to address this because I know a lot of people in the comments will say, well, I don't want to pay for fonts. I can find there's so many free fonts out there. Agree, but I do think that because the majority of the designers are only going to go for what's free, it's so cheap. It's like $5 to $15 for you to buy something at premium that you know that the designer worked hard on it, they're getting compensated, but also it sets you apart from the rest because not a lot of people are going to use it, which means your work is going to stand out and be more unique. Now, if you're still struggling with finding fonts, we just created a very long video about the process of thinking through and choosing fonts. I'm going to link the video here, and we have an ebook about choosing fonts. I'll link that below as well. I hope to see you in the next video. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I'll see you there. Peace.